Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. We have got another update video for you today, and I thought I got some stuff to update you on because I missed my update video last week. Some weeks I feel like I don't have enough to talk about, and then the week passes and I'm like, oh, I actually have a lot of things to say. So here we go, an update on my fourth, first, and kindergartner. Okay, friends, so many things, fun things to talk about with you guys today. So I'm going to be going off of my planner here. I've shared this planner with you guys a lot, and so I know that a lot of you guys have gone over and purchased it over in my Teachers Pay Teachers shop, so hopefully you're finding value in it as well. But as you see me glance down, I did a whole video about how I organize my school weeks, but this is what I'm going to be talking to you guys about. So let's just jump right into it. We'll start this video with our family and unit study school, and then we'll finish up with my 3 kids individually, as I do for all of them. Once again, this is a series video, so if you're new and this is just a video that you have stumbled upon, we are now in week 7. We finished week 7 of school, so this is just, I just kind of go along and talk about what we've done each week. So first and foremost, we have started a new character quality. I don't know if I've told you guys that already or not, but anyway, we're doing the character quality of meekness now. And oh, I did tell you, because we're going off of a really good talk by President Bednar, and it just kind of explains 3 main character traits that kind of fall underneath meekness as we try to explain it. And so I've got this, like, you can't see it here, but over on this part of my wall, we're doing this. Here we go. Ready? Come with me. Over here, you can see this is my little like character wall that we've started. So up here is attentiveness. That's the one that we just finished. And then meekness. And then this is a little poster where I'm adding on as we go through week by week. And then these are like little art projects that we've done that go along with meekness. So, okay. I hope you enjoyed that field trip. So this week we just played some games, and I have another resource that was like made in the 60s probably, or the 70s, that my mom had, which was passed down to her from somebody. Anyway, it's a resource you'll never find, but it just kind of has a whole bunch of stories and pictures and songs and stuff that go with these gospel traits, I guess, and just overall gospel concepts. Anyway, so I was using that. We were telling stories. We did a few like activities on the chalkboard. We sang songs. Anyway, overall, it was just kind of a really good week for that. Oh, I got to show you guys this. So I've added this to our homeschool morning time, and I was doing it on clipboards until I saw Simplified Homeschooling talk about these menus. And these are just like clear menus. You can order them on Amazon. It's like a menu case, maybe. I don't remember what they call it. But anyway, the one that I have has 6 panels. Clearly this one is not finished because it's my youngest's. But inside, and we haven't done the goals this year. I put this together maybe 3 weeks now, and we still haven't done the goals. So winning at life. Okay, but I have plans every week. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the 5 goals for my kids for this year, and then we'll put that back in there. Anyway, we do go over our affirmations. So every morning we say our affirmations and we talk about positive thinking and just the growth mindset. And it has the symbol "a great work" up here because that's the youth theme for this year. So I just kind of borrowed that. Anyway, and then this is the scripture for meekness. So we recite this scripture. I'll dictate this to them and they'll write it. They will do like a copy sometimes. It's kind of just, I don't know, scripture memorization / copy work / dictation. It's just kind of all of those things round up into one, but this is where that always is. And then I had plans of other things I'm going to put in these too, which I haven't put together yet. Anyway, and then on the back we have our states. We do geography together in the morning. We just added these Midwestern states / Southern states. We did all of the Western states, and now we've added this line right here, of 6 states from Texas up to North Dakota. And so we just barely started that. Oh, and we added Hawaii. Oh, my son moved it. Anyway, we added Hawaii too. So we've kind of started introducing more states, but this is just there, so they always have that. Anyway, highly recommend this if you have morning time where you're always reciting or doing or kind of looking at the same papers all the time. I love this over the clipboard that I've been using for generations. So, generations, you like that? Okay, so we did that. What else did we do? Oh, our science. We had such a great week in science. So if you're trying to follow like my science theme, like I'm just gonna warn you right now, is going to be like a ping pong ball, because we just jump around to whatever is interesting to us, or if I find something that the community is doing, then we go out there. Anyway, so this week we did light and shadow, and it was so great. We went out to the library. They had this whole presentation about it, and they gave us 6 vocabulary words and an activity. And so we did the activity there, which is the presenter had brought a bunch of objects from her house, and we separated them into opaque, transparent, and translucent. And so when we got home the next day, I repeated that activity, but I had my students pick the stuff in our house and find things that are opaque, translucent, and transparent. We talked a little bit more about shadow, and I had more of that sun shadow paper. Did I tell you guys about that? I think I might have. Anyway, I don't have it in here anymore, but it's just like paper where if you put it out in the sun, it changes color. And so you put objects on top of it and it creates that shadow pattern. It's kind of like photo paper-ish. But anyway, so we did that again. And anyway, it was just so successful. And sometimes I have really awesome weeks in some subjects that I'm often struggling in. Then I'll like have a really powerful week. And that's what this week was in science. I felt like, good job, we actually did well. And then in addition to that, to this light unit, we also did with the Little House in the Big Woods, we did science with them. And it kind of went under the umbrella of our plant unit, which we have been doing. And that's in that we were looking at trees and sap and where maple syrup comes from. We watched a bunch of YouTube videos about maple syrup and how it is made and why the tree needs sap and osmosis. Anyway, we had a good week in science, so that was really good. Okay, so then we did, and I guess that kind of like goes into our unit study for Little House in the Big Woods. We finished chapter 7 and chapter 8, which was a little bit rocky because it's the big dance, and so I had kind of a hard time finding different activities, I don't know, that interested me enough to want to pull it into our unit. So we kind of read a lot, and then we settled down on the study of sap and maple, since the whole dance is kind of centered around that. So anyway, I'll talk more about that in our Little House in the Big Woods video on Fridays. Okay, I think that kind of sums up our family school and how that all went. It was great. So let's talk about my kids. Section. Oh, can I comment on this really quick? In my last video, somebody had made a comment that said, why do you call your kids your students? And if you've heard me say that and refer to my children as my students, I think that it's just because I was a teacher for so long that when we're in this learning environment and this learning center, then they are my students. I am still their mother, of course, but they are my students, and I'm in a teaching role, and my responsibility is to teach them, and I expect their behavior to respect my teaching role. And so I don't know, I think I just get into a mindset. So if you hear me as I'm like, okay, let's talk about my students now, I do mean my kids, but I've had too many years in the public world of teaching other people's children. So, okay, let's talk about my son. So now we're into 4th grade. Check the timestamps below. I'll try to remember to put those in there for you. So 4th grade is going great. We took a little sidestep from our Christian Light education, which I am loving. And I'm going to talk about why I'm loving it so much when we get to my kindergartner. But we took a little sidestep from that, and I had him focus only on times tables. For the last 2 weeks, he's been doing flashcards and games and videos and songs and these little like timetable sheets. And I don't do them as like speed work because my son gets really, I don't know, he just doesn't like to be timed, even though anyway, whatever. So we just do it as like his practice activity. Anyway, so we've only been doing that for his math every day, and we spend about 15 minutes. And I'm delighted to say that now at the end of 8 school days, he knows his times 6 tables significantly better. And I think he hopefully has more confidence in seeing those multiplication facts now than he did before. So we're going to go back to Christian Light for the next couple of weeks, and then I'm going to sidestep again and we'll do the sevens family, just so that we aren't, totally doing just times tables. I think that could get boring, but we're also really like hammering down on those so that he feels more confidence in them. So don't hesitate. I actually got that recommendation from one of my homeschooling ladies that I mentor. After discussing some problems, we had come to this conclusion, and I was like, I need to do that for myself. So anyway, don't be married to your curriculum. We say it over and over again, and don't hesitate to sidestep, whether you're learning addition or subtraction or multiplication like we were doing, or fractions, or wherever you are in your student's math journey. Then just try to, I got distracted because I heard myself say students. Anyway, don't hesitate to sidestep and to do something just in that area that they need. And it's worked really great for us this week. So we did that. Can we talk about spelling? I'm so happy, guys. I know you've been here with me, and so many of you have just been like putting your shoulder next to mine and saying, keep walking, Kaylin, you're going to figure this out. We have kind of found a rhythm that's working for us. And I'm so pleased because we stepped away from BJU Press. And yes, we got like 1 week into it. I think we did 2 lessons worth of work in that. So what's that? 8 pages. Anyway, we stepped away from that, and I went back to Explode the Code. How many years has it been? I can't even remember, but I stumbled on this book in my treasure trove, and I was like, oh, let's try this. So we're doing that, and we're doing Spell UC, which I know that a lot of people have recommended Spell UC to me as like, don't do it. So they have not recommended it. And because they feel boring, but it has been really great because I feel like he is kind of nailing down some of those rules that we kind of just breezed through, or we never talked about because I was jumping around between phonics-based spelling or memorization-based spelling, or I don't know, just trying to figure out our rhythm, right? But we're in a place, we've been doing this for 2 weeks now, just a combination of Spell UC and Explode the Code. And my son isn't as resistant to it. He's never really been resistant, but he just feels, I think it's more confidence. He's not as hesitant to start spelling. It's not his last subject. He's just enjoying it better. And yeah, the words are easier, but we're doing Explode the Code 5. We've done 1 through 4, so I just had 5. Anyway, so good news on the spelling front here on our side of the mountain. You can throw some confetti my way because we are feeling better about that. Okay. As far as his reading, so he is reading, what is he reading? Magic Treehouse. And he really loves the volcano aspect of the story. And so he hurried and finished reading the whole book because he's like, Mom, I want to just build the volcano. So instead of we were doing 2 chapters a week, he just like blew through it all. I didn't even have like, reading comprehension questions printed off, or character studies, or imagery, or like any of those things printed off or like compiled for him. He just breezed through it. So we're gonna do the volcano this coming week for him because that's really what he was most interested in. And I was like, well, at least you read the book. So I have another book lined up for him to start, but it doesn't have, like, nobody's built anything around it before. So I'm gonna, I don't know. I feel like maybe he needs to have something to show for his work. But in the same sense, only because that's how I was educated, I don't know, like, I'm in this place where I feel like he needs to have like the vocabulary charts and the character studies and the reading comprehension questions for a book that I have picked for him that he wouldn't necessarily pick for himself. It's a little bit, it's not like a challenging book, but it's just something different. I'll be honest, I don't really know how to like approach reading, but I'm going to give him this book and we're going to figure it out. And I was just in like talking this out loud with you guys. I feel like I had planned on building this whole like, not a lap book necessarily, but just kind of this unit around it, this like work. But now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, maybe that would just be busy work and I should just expect him to read it and then tell me what he read. So we're still going to figure that out. I have maybe like 4 days to figure that out. So I'll think about that. We are still doing this geography book. I'll show you since it just happens to be sitting right here. We are still doing this geography book every day, and it's complementing our study of the United States. Excellent. So I'm really happy about that. It's super quick. He does it by himself. I rarely even look at the pages while he's doing it. It's not until like the end of the week that I like look at what he's doing. No, he doesn't write in complete sentences. He doesn't like, it's just a basic understanding to like get those ideas in his head about the geography of the United States. So that's him. I think that that's everything. We had a really good week. Okay. Oh, language. I forgot. Okay. So we are doing a Becca. Yes. And we're on unit 2. So we finished up this week and I made these like long papers. You guys can't really tell that well, but I've talked about them before. So at the end of every unit, we've done 2 now. So every unit. I'm loving this like unit review idea of just creating this giant piece of paper. And then I make a bunch of boxes to be like, okay, like let's do this section, and we just kind of like make this giant visual aid about it. My daughter's been asking me to do it for her. So I have to figure out, she's been doing like consonant blends. So maybe I'll make something up for her, but it's just been kind of fun because it's a quick way to review, especially when the book has review pages. Sometimes they take 2 or 3 pages worth of just like concept review. And I'm like, oh, we'll just make this and it'll be funner and more colorful and faster. And anyway, so that's what we've been doing. We did that. So, okay. Let's do, what's the next one? Oh, that's okay. So let's do my daughter. I keep looking at this and this is my son, so that doesn't help me. Okay, let's do my daughter. We have been doing states for her history. We're using BJU Press Heritage Studies 1 for her. And I built this whole like walk through the book curriculum, I guess you could say, I don't know, when I was working it out with my son. And so I'm just going through those pages again and I love it. I love it. I love it so much. So today we talked about, or this week we talked about states have famous places, states have famous people, and states have something else. Anyway, so we just kind of talked a little bit more about that. And then we had planned to drive up to the Capitol building, but since moving again, it's not really close to our house anymore. It's quite a drive. And then with the State of the Union, I just kind of decided not to go up there. But we did look at a few pictures. Not that that matters. My kids often confuse the Utah Capitol building with the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Because they look almost identical. And I'm not sure if all Capitol buildings look identical. I'm trying to remember in my brain the few that I have been to, but I'm not recalling. So anyway, in having that conversation with her this week, she had a lot of confusion, but anyway, but my kids know where Utah is and they know that that's the state that they live in. And so we had a really good conversation about that. Math, I don't have much to say. She's doing Horizons level 1. You may remember we started level 1 last year and then I stepped away because it was a little bit too fast, but it was a really good move because this year she is loving it. She breezes through those math problems without a problem. She doesn't use the number line. She just knows the math problem. So it really was a great step for us. So that's been really good. She has her letters and sounds and her level 1 language arts book. And, I don't have much to say. We went from going from 2 pages a day, so front and back of 1 page, only to 1 page a day. And I feel like because they were just putting so many consonant blends together that doing 2 pages just felt a little bit too much. And she does a lot of work just overall in the course of her day. She goes through a lot of books and right now she loves it, but I don't want to burn her out so that here in December or January, then she's annoyed, So I pulled back and I was like, we don't need to do front and back each day. So we only do one side and it's 3 activities. So it's very quick for both her letters and her sounds and her language. Her reading book, she loves her reading book. We're doing Evan Moore reading. It's grade 1, and it has activities. So I have her read the story every day, and then she does one of the activities. There's anywhere between 5 and 6, maybe 7 in some week activities. And so sometimes she does 2 pages, usually just 1, but she's loving that. And then she's also doing spelling UC, and finds it very easy and simple, but we're still there. So that's her. That was really fast. Okay, hopefully you got something out of that. I feel like I just said everything was great for her, but she's a really easy student and I really love that. So I love that she loves learning. Okay, lastly, let's talk about my son. So he's in kindergarten and he's a very young kindergartner. He just turned 4, so super young kindergartner / preschool. I don't know what you want to call it. He's learning his letters, but he knows his numbers really well. So maybe it is preschool. I don't know what you want to call him. # homeschool problems. Okay, so let's talk about him. So he finished his first Christian light units, and that particular curriculum has 5 light units over the course of the kindergarten year. And this is what I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, is I love that they've broken it up into books, because we had this little celebration. You finished your book, the first book, you finished it, instead of waiting until the very end of the school year when you're like, yay, we finished. And so it was a really fun celebration. And my son, who is in 4th grade, will be finishing his first math light unit this coming week, I think. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I'm looking on my notes now. Yeah, in this coming week. So anyway, it's just such a blessing and a testament that it's, those small celebrations are just so fun to celebrate your kids' learning and show them what they have accomplished and how far they have come in their learning. And it's just a lot of fun. So anyway, we've just been doing a lot of letter studies, a few ideas that we've been doing. So we've been matching the families, and he has 5, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters that he has studied now. And so he made these little families, and I got this resource off of Teachers Pay Teachers. It was free. I couldn't even tell you who made it. Oh, Kids Snarks, KIDSNARKZ. Yep, I read that off the bottom of there. Anyway, so she had a whole bundle that was free at the time. It may not be free now. I don't know. I got it a long time ago. But we did this almost every day, and I told him, make your little families. So he had the sound and the capital and the lowercase for the 5 letters that he's been doing. So he, did that fun activity a few times. We, did the beginning sounds. I showed you that a few videos ago. We've done that. We've used our pocket charts where he puts them in the pocket charts. We've used the carpet. We've used my little monster man. So we have lots of different ways that we do that. And then I also, have these kinds of things. This was for letter A. We didn't ever get to it, but he will this coming week because we're going to be reviewing. But this is just like a flap book. Again, Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's that same Kid Sparks, KIDSPARKZ. So this is just a fun letters and sounds. And then this is a brochure. Guys, I have so many things over the course of our years that I've just downloaded. But anyway, this is just a brochure. So we do these kinds of activities a lot. He just does a lot of coloring, cutting, pasting, experiencing, writing, all that kind of stuff. And then the other thing that we've been learning is in his geography. He has a geography book as well that he loves doing, and it's teaching him directional words like above, below, next to, right, left, in front of, behind. So this week it was above and below. And so I made this little game. This is really something simple that you can make with your kindergartner if you're doing directions, or even a first grader or anybody actually. Anyway, so I just have a bunch of little things that you find in a park. So I have kids playing, a bike, a bench, what are these, swings, and a tree, and a dog, and a sandbox. Okay, and then I printed a water droplet. Here's my one water droplet. And so then we just play this game. I give the water droplet to my student, to my child. I don't know why I hear myself say that and it distracts me now. Anyway, I should not have mentioned it at the beginning. Anyway, so then I have this park scene laid out in front of us, and I'll just give my child verbal directions, right? It's raining on or above the tree. And so then he will put it above the tree. It's raining below the bench. So then he'll find the bench, which I can't find now. Okay, so then he'll find the bench and he'll put the water droplet below the bench. You can do this for anything, next to the right of, to the left of, up, down, right. So it's raining above the bike. So anyway, we just talked all about that. And I think, yeah, the word was above. Anyway, I was surprised at the beginning of the week that my kindergartner wasn't totally aware of what the word above and below were. And when you've already taught your older kids, I don't know, I find that sometimes I just forget that these are things that he needs to learn as well. And you sometimes may just assume like, oh, he knows it because above and below, like we use these words frequently. But he didn't know him. So by the end of the week, he knows what above is and he knows what below is. And so that was just a fun game and a fun way to teach it. And then he also had kind of some follow-up work in his textbook that he gets to do in his like little work text. So anyway, we did all of that. So I think that kind of wraps up our week. We had a really great week. Moving into week 8, I can't believe it. That's 2 months worth of school. We are going to step aside from Little House in the Big Woods for 1 week because it is fall and we are officially in September, and my favorite thing to teach is about apples and fall and apple pie. So we are doing a 5 in a row, how to bake an apple pie and see the world. I haven't even finished building it yet. I have 2 days to do that, but we are going to do that 5 in a row book this coming week instead of Little House in the Big Woods. So we might do it in conjunction with, we'll see, but that's the plan coming up. Thanks so much for watching another video with me, and hopefully you found some kind of tip or something that was encouraging, or maybe you just like hanging out with me, and that's awesome too. If you are wanting to connect with me more, I am on Instagram. It's kaylin.morell. Fair warning, it's my whole life there. Like I just talk about everything that's there, my fit community and homeschooling. So it's not just strictly like homeschooling tips. There's a lot of accounts out there that do that, and I am not one of them. So if you're looking for more homeschooling information, then you're welcome to, I have a lot of friends that I follow that do just homeschooling accounts, but my Instagram account is just kind of me and my life and my whatever I'm into at the moment. So I would love to have you follow along because I love, making friends and connections with other like-minded people. So you're invited to join me there, kaylin.morell on Instagram. Anyway, thanks guys. We'll catch you in another one.